Hello, welcome back. So as I'm going through my game dev journey here and trying to learn more about game development, I want to make sure I stop and pause and talk about issues I face and how I solve them. So the issue I'm going to talk about in this video, it has to do with parallax backgrounds. So my game is a shoot 'em up style space game. So I don't necessarily want my character to move off the screen and have a camera follow them. I'd rather let the whole background shift down the screen to give the illusion that we're moving, when in reality we're not. We're just shifting in that space, dodging obstacles and shooting at enemies. So an issue I've had is I've also, with that, want a camera shake effect, where when my player gets hurt or when an enemy gets destroyed or an explosion happens, something big, I want the camera to shake to kind of give that more depth and give that more of a feel of getting hit hard. So what it's supposed to look like is what I have here. The background moves down, we can shoot our enemies, and when a player takes damage, boom, camera shake. Beautiful. This is exactly what I'd wanted. But the problem was this didn't work initially the way I thought. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how I went about fixing this, what resources I found, and how we got to this answer. So the first thing I'll do in this video is to show you how I made the manually scrolling parallax background. So you'll need a parallax background node, and then you need to add parallax layers with either your texture X or your sprites, whatever you want to scroll down the screen. When you set the parallax layers, you want to make sure that you're mirroring in the direction that you want the infinite scrolling to happen. So in my case, I want it to be 360 in the Y because that's how big my background is. I also adjusted the position to be 360 pixels above where you're going to actually see the viewport due to where I'm trying to scroll from the top down, like we saw in the beginning. Shifting over to the script here, it's very, very easy to actually get this to scroll. You just need to change the scroll offset in either the Y or X direction based on which way you want to go. And you just have it go by some speed that you make and by delta, and it'll automatically do the effect that I showed earlier in the video. The problem comes when the camera 2D node here is enabled. The way that the documentation talks about this is when there is a parallax background, the camera 2D is the default controller of the offset. Now this is the reason because normally for a parallax background, you're using a game that's like a platformer or a side scroller. So the camera is attached to your character and your character is moving off the screen, or the camera's following it through a level. So that's great for what they're trying to do, but when we're trying to do a self-scroll or an auto-scrolling, a manual scrolling background, when this is enabled, the camera will actually not allow the scrolling effect to happen. So as you see here, with the camera enabled now, we are not scrolling like we did previously. So the first step I took to try and fix this was I would not enable the camera initially, and I attached a script where when we're trying to do the camera shake here, we turn the camera on, we set the shake strength to equal our random strength that we use in a different function, and then we turn it back off. Now this works in theory, or this should work in theory, but we'll see here. It scrolls, everything's great. We shoot, but then when we get hit, the offset resets back to the initial base offset of the parallax background. So in that split second where we do have the camera turned back on, the entire parallax background resets back to the base offset. So the way that I went about fixing this was I have this function here that will save the scrolling offset that we've been changing in our process function, as well as the base offset of the entire parallax background. Now, this may not be the best way to do it. I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert programmer and this is the best way, but this is how I figured it out. So then we go into our script here for the camera, and we'll uncomment this stuff. And what we'll do is we'll set the scroll base offset to equal the offset that we have moved with the process function plus the base offset from before the shake. Now this allows it so that every time we have a camera shake, it's saving whatever the base offset is and adding what the offset we've moved is. And then the next time we have the shake, it's adding back on to the base offset the next amount we've moved. So that way, every time it resets, it's already back to where it was right before we started the shake. And there's no resetting back to the 0.0-0 vector. So I have this timer here, and you can adjust this time in the middle here. I think 0.3 is like the largest I could go. When I went to 0.5, you could clearly see the pausing of the parallax background. So you want to make sure this timer that here is really short and let it do everything. And then when the timer's done, we enable it back to being false. And with all those together, you just have a really nice and I think smooth camera shake with a manually scrolling parallax background. Now, I don't think it's 100% perfect, but it does work for what I'm trying to do, and hopefully this video helped you as well. So if you found some help with this, please consider leaving a like, subscribe to see more of my game dev journey here and my learning process. If you know a better way to go about this, please leave it in the comments. Let me know so we can pin that, let other people know, and this video can be a resource for people trying to find an answer to this issue. Because when I was trying to Google this and look on the forums for Godot and even on the Reddit, I really didn't see anything that explicitly talked about how to do this one thing. So let me know if you have a better way or if you know a better resource. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe, and well, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.